On top of this shocking declaration, Iran has announced future joint military exercises in the Mediterranean with Russia and China. What a dangerous alliance. These are such dangerous times for Israel and for the world. We must understand that the events we are now reading in our newspapers and watching on television newscasts are predicted in the prophecies of the Bible. We'll be back with Walid Shuibat in just a moment. Wait till you find out what he has to say the Bible shows us in reference to Allah and the crescent moon. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Hello, Sid Roth here, and I'm with Walid Shuibat, and he told me things that I've never heard before, such as, tell me the correlation between Allah and the crescent moon.
When most Westerners read Isaiah 14, where it talks about Lucifer, they look at the English translation, Lucifer. You know, I go to the Hebrew. The Hebrew says, Hilal bin Sahar. How art fallen from heaven, O Hilal bin Sahar. Hilal is the word for brightness, and it's also the Aramaic, Hebraic, Arabic word for crescent moon. So we read it in context. How art thou fallen from heaven, O crescent moon, son of the morning star. So there's the crescent, there's the star, there's a symbol of Islam itself, as in the name of Lucifer. And let's not forget in Isaiah 14, it continues to say, when he's captured, this Lucifer, this Hilal bin Sahar, he is judged. People will look at him and say, is this the man that made the earth tremble? They say this is the rebelliousness of Lucifer in heaven. When did Lucifer become a man? The anti-Messiah, the Antichrist, no question.
Okay, what about Allah? What are the various names for Allah? What is he called in the Quran?
He's called many names. Some are beautiful.
Tell me a few of the names that we're interested in right now.
The interesting names of Allah is Khairul Makirin. Khairul Makirin in the Arabic. In the English it means the greatest of all deceivers. So,
really?
Absolutely. In fact, there are prayers in Islam of having Allah give you the gift of cunningness. So some of the names of Allah in the Quran is also Al-Mutakabbir, the most proud one. So this is what I'm trying to say.
So who's going to be the Antichrist?
You mean his name?
His name, or where will he
Everyone
be from?
who tried to figure out his name was wrong.
Oh, for sure.
So I think I know which country he comes from.
Which country?
He comes from the country of Turkey, no question.
Well, that begs the question. We are taught that the Antichrist is going to rule the world. You say different.
No, he can't rule the world, because if you look at several places in the Bible, he fights against other nations. In Daniel 11, Daniel 11 gives us the best description of the Antichrist. He declares war on the what? The strongest of all fortresses. Well, the strongest fortresses or the strongest military might in the world is not the Antichrist, it's someone else. In fact, most Westerners, hardly if ever, study how the Antichrist falls. When you ask a typical Western Christian, how is Antichrist destroyed in the end? Well, Jesus breathes on him, and that's it.
Right.
Well, there's more to it than that. That's the command, by the way, of battle that the Messiah orders. But the destruction of the Antichrist is in Ezekiel 28. He's number one there, the prince of Lebanon, the prince of Tyre. His destruction in verses 8, 9, you can continue on. It says that God will raise nations, and those nations are the most terrible of the nations, militarily. And they will destroy him, and they will throw him into the pit. In Micah 5, God raises 7 shepherds and 8 principal men to fight against you.
Who are these 7 shepherds and 8 principal men?
Well, no one knows them yet, but they are definitely mentioned in the Bible. Let's not forget, even the Antichrist has basically 7 horns. 10, 3 plucked out of the root. What remains? 7. So you have 7 good leaders versus 7 evil ones. 7 will stand with God. 7 will be against God. So in this essence, Micah chapter 5 is a mystery to people today, but it is 7 nations that God will raise. They will rule the most powerful nations militarily in the world. And let me maybe suggest, how about America? While many people think America is doomed.
Yeah, is America going to survive?
I believe so. It is such an unedifying message when I hear America is doomed, America is finished. We've been through depression before. We've been through all kinds of things before.
All right, just briefly, because I want to know the answers to these. Is oil mentioned in the Bible?
Absolutely. How can anyone deny Isaiah chapter 34, in which God destroys Edom? Let's not forget.
What is Edom?
Ezekiel 25.
Edom is what? What country?
Arabia.
Okay.
Absolutely. And, because Ezekiel 25 tells us Edom is from Teman to Dedan. These are biblical cities that are in Arabia. And then in Isaiah 34, it says about this place in Arabia, it becomes what? A burning pitch. It will burn forever and ever. I mean, Arabia will burn literally. It will be destroyed. Even the Bible tells us what nation destroys Arabia.
What nation?
Iran. Iran,
Huh.
yes.
Yeah, that's kind of making sense now.
Yeah, in Isaiah 21. Isaiah 21, you look at the reference. Babylon is fallen, is fallen. That should ring a bell. That's the same reference in Revelation 14, Revelation 18, regarding Mystery Babylon. Who destroys it? Arise, O Elam. And, you know...
what's going to happen to Iran?
Iran will eventually be destroyed.
What's going to happen to Egypt?
Egypt, the Messiah is going to come down and fight for the believers in Egypt. There will be persecution of the believers in Egypt.
Oh, okay, so let's take a look at a little different paradigm. What do you believe the mark of the beast 666 is?
Well, we have to understand from the book of Revelation in chapter 13, the mark is the number of his name. We have to think of the name of the beast. People in the West think name of the beast. What would it be? In the foreheads of the followers of the Antichrist, it might say something like Hillary Rodham Clinton or some name.
No, don't say that.
No, it's not a literal name. It has nothing to do with a literal Western name. You know, look at the Messiah. We interpret the Bible from the Bible. The Messiah's name, what is his name? His name shall be called Emmanuel, which is what? God with us.
Right.
His name is not Emmanuel. He's not Mexican. He is from Bethlehem. His name shall be called Emmanuel, which is God with us. This God with us is what? A title. It's our what? A creed. Our creed is what? God with us. Only one faith in the world has God with us. In the same essence, the name of the beast. What is it? The creed of the beast. They have a creed. The kingdom of the Antichrist has a creed. It's a blasphemous creed.
What is it?
The major creed of Islam is what? I declare there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. America, you want peace with Islam, you all must recite there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. Will you be willing to recite this, Sid? Of course not. Why? Number one, you're an American. No one tells you what to do. Number two, who is Allah? You know, that is not the God of the Bible.
So you believe the mark of the beast is the creed?
The creed. If you look at the movie The Kingdom of Heaven, let's say, go watch the movie. The Kingdom of Heaven. Watch Saladin. Saladin was that figure, the Muslim guy who was fighting against the Crusades. Right. Look at him sitting in the tent. What does he have around his arm? He has around his arm, Bismillah, in the name of Allah.
Yeah, but it talks about the forehead too.
And the forehead as well.
The bandana around the Palestinians?
Absolutely. Not just Palestinians, Turks, Muslims in Africa.
I know, but what's the mark on the bandana?
It says there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. It says in the name of Allah sometimes, Bismillah. If you look at that movie I mentioned, on the right arm is Bismillah.
And what does 666 mean?
Well, if you look at the Greek, there's 3 Greek letters. No one can deny they're Greek. But they also, for some miraculous reason, supernatural reason that I cannot fathom, it also reads in the Arabic language. In fact, none of my detractors denied that it does say Bismillah in the Greek letters.
Which means?
In the name of Allah.
So 666, the mark of the beast,
yes,
is on the forehead or the arm, the name of Allah.
In the Greek, it reads it that way.
If you could ask a couple of questions to these people, what would you ask them?
Well, question number one, which no one in the world can answer, really. Question number one, out of all the literal references in the Bible, okay? Not the allegoric, every literal country mentioned in the Bible that God deals with. In the end times, what are they? No one can tell me they're not Muslim. Every single one of them is Muslim. I know people can argue over Gog, Magog being Russia.
But wait a second. Where did we get this whole European Union thing?
Well, in the 70s, you know.
The 70s?
Yeah, Hal Lindsey became, you know, and Tim LaHaye, you know, these guys made it popular. So Greece joined as a 10th nation in the European Confederacy. Ah, we got the 10 horns. We got the 10 toes. So then another nation joined, 11, 12, all the way to 2020. Some nations joined the European Union. So you got the Daniel chapter 2 with the statue of Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar's dream, 10 toes. You have a 23, 24 toes, you know. All of them are protruding out of the west. One foot's got 20-some toes, the western leg, and the eastern leg's chopped off. So I go to churches and I speak to pastors and I speak to the congregation and I challenge the pastors, you know. I say, okay, you believe in a revival of a Roman Empire. We're fighting over semantics, really, because when I say the Islamic world, they say, oh no, it's a revival of a Roman Empire. It can't be the Muslim world. I say, okay, we're fighting over semantics. If the Roman Empire, did it include North Africa? No one can deny it. Yes. What countries included North Africa? Libya, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, Mauritania. What happened in Libya lately? I've been saying this 15 years. I've been talking about this Arab Spring 15 years ago from the Bible. What happens in Egypt? Will that be part of the Roman Empire? Well, I have to include them. Of course, they're part of the Roman Empire. What about Turkey? Was that part of the Roman Empire? Well, that's the eastern leg. Of course I have to include it. Okay, so what's left? Europe. Well, we can argue over Europe, but there isn't a single reference in the Bible where God punishes a European nation. Show me where. Rome is mentioned 16 times. Some blessing, in fact, to the believers in Rome. But there is no destruction of Rome in the Bible, literally by name. We're going to say Mystery Babylon, that's a whole different question. But there is no little references. Out of all the nations, Messiah fights. Every nation, Messiah fights in the Bible. Every single one of them is Muslim.